Welcome to World Shakers with the Janine Driver. Who wouldn't want that name?
I know, right? When I was, I was traveling before I got married. I was traveling once. I was in North Carolina, and a guy said to me, "Is Driver your maiden name or married name?" I go, "My maiden name." He goes, "If you ever get married, you got to keep Driver. That's a good name." He goes, "My wife's maiden name was Friday, and when I married her, I made her keep it because Friday's a good last name. Driver's a good last name." So it's Janine Driver. It matches my personality for sure. I'm very driven.
I love it. It works for you. And people always say about my name, Tim Storey, like, is that truly your name? And yeah, it is.
That's a good name.
So Janine, I'm loving the clothes today. Tell me your inspiration for this outfit.
I'm doing some social media shoots upstairs. I've got a guy in from LA who works with some of the celebs out there. Lisa Vanderpump. He knows Hank Norman over there at 2 Market Media with you guys.
Yeah.
His name's Jeffon. I don't know if you know a guy named Jeffon. Do you know Jeffon?
Tell Jeffon I said hello.
I will. He's upstairs working with a friend of mine who's an astrologist. And her name is Leslie McCurk. And Leslie and I just launched a new online show. Well, it's not even launched yet. It's going to launch this Sunday, called Stargazing. And
yes.
So we're picking different celebrities, and she's looking at the astrological chart. I'm doing what's called movement pattern analysis profile. I'm looking at their movement DNA and how they're motivated to make decisions. And we just filmed that show this morning. And so Jeffon's up there doing a bunch of social media with Leslie. So I had all my hair all dolled up and my makeup earlier, but once
I'm loving this whole deal.
No, once it's done, I'm from Boston, girl, so I'm baseball hat, scarf kind of a kid. So
okay, so this particular show is called World Shakers. Okay, so World Shaker to me is someone who impacts the world in an extraordinary fashion. So that would be you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some of the questions that I ask many of our guests. What did you dream about doing when you were little? And I like to think about in terms of like middle school,
Yes.
10, 11, 12. What were you thinking about becoming?
I always thought at that age I would be Julie McCoy in The Love Boat.
And who wouldn't want to be the cruise lady?
I did. It was my life's dream. And as a matter of fact, when I was in college, there was an ad in a newspaper to be a cruise director on a cruise ship. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Julie McCoy in The Love Boat. This is my dream come true. And you had to pay $500, but they would put you in front of all the cruise lines. My mother said to me, Janine, it's a scam. You don't pay to then get a job. Like, you write a resume, you do an interview, you get a job. It's a scam. And I said, Mom, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to squish my dream because you don't want me going on cruise ships around the world. You're jealous. You're hating. And so I paid the $500, which was a lot back in 1989, and you're a college student. And lo and behold, it was a scam. I called a week later to find out how it was going, and the number went doo-doo-doo. The number you have reached.
So do you still want to act?
For me, acting?
Yeah, because she was an actress.
Yeah, there you go.
I
suck at acting, so I can't memorize stuff. I met once. I used to do stand-up comedy in my 20s, and my home-based comedy club it's called Stand Up New York. It's on 78th and Broadway in New York City. I'm a Boston kid originally. I worked at the World Trade Center during the day for ATF. My specialty, I was an investigator for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF. And I did firearms trafficking, but when I moved to New York and worked at the World Trade Center, I was the public information officer. I remember TWA Flight 800 went down off of Long Island, and I walked on that plane when it was reassembled. Everyone thought it was shot down. There was a terrorist attack, but the fuselage had blown up. And so while I was in New York, if you're always looking for the bad in people, you may want to have some levity. So for me, I wanted levity. So I did stand-up comedy, not because I thought it was funny, because I wanted funny friends. And there was an audition for Saturday Night Live. I wasn't at the club, my home base. I was at another club called Gotham.
I'm liking you even more. I liked you before, but I'm really liking you because I love comedy.
You did? Well, listen, I got a little had too many. Back then, they'd give the booze for free to the stand-up comedians. So I was at this club. It was my birthday, June 10th, which was yesterday. Sorry, and message came out.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, 49.
Yeah, it goes the whole week.
I know, right? I said it's my birthday week. I told that to my 3 sons. So I got a little, hammered at this club, Gotham. And then after drinking, I went to my home base club, Stand Up New York, for Saturday Night Live auditions to just watch them. And the comedians auditioned numerous clubs to even get seen. I go in the back, it's sold out because these are the best comedians in New York City at the time. And there's one seat of 4 in the back, and there's a man and a woman across from each other. So I scooted in against the wall.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking it up. And I think I was like 26 years old. And the woman next to me, you could smoke back then in the club. She's smoking. And I said, can I bum a cigarette? I go, listen, a little less attitude. It's my birthday and I'm celebrating it with you. And I'm not blowing out birthday candles. I'm blowing out your nicotine from the cigarette. So less attitude. It's a comedy club. Lighten up.
I
She
love
goes, I like you. She goes, you're funny. What's your name? I go, Janine Driver. And oh crap, sorry.
No, it's okay.
My phone buzzed in. That's reality, right?
No, this is reality right here.
That's reality, man. So Janine Driver, I go, I do stand-up comedy. So it's so funny you think I'm funny, that you like me. And I go, I want me to tell you a secret. I go, what's your name? She goes, Marcy. I go, hey, Marcy. I'm whispering. The show's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, want to know a secret? She goes, yeah. I go, Chris Rock is in the lobby. He is coming out to do a stand-up act. He's going to surprise the executive producer of Saturday Night Live, who's here. He hasn't seen her in a couple of years. Yeah, I go, so get your camera out because Chris Rock's going to come on and do a set. You know Chris Rock, right?
Well,
you're like my age. The millennials might not know who Chris Rock is.
Of course we know who Chris Rock is.
So I go, get your camera out.
He's in the top 3.
Yeah, so guess what this Marcy does? She doesn't get her camera up. She jumps up and runs out to the lobby to talk to Chris Rock. I said to her friend, had you been there, you would have heard me. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with your friend Marcy? Yeah. Chris Rock's coming out. Now she's running out there like a fanfare. I go, great. Marcy comes back and she goes, by the way, I probably should introduce myself. I'm Marcy Klein, the executive producer of Saturday Night Live.
Oh my goodness.
Banging my head against the wall.
This is such a great story. So at this point, you were a comedian. Mm-hmm. But did you perform that night?
So here's the best part. She goes, I like you. I want you to perform after Chris Rock gets off the stage. I go, first of all, I'm hammered. I don't work while I'm drunk.
Yeah.
No one should work while they're drunk. I go, first of all, I'm hammered. Second of all, you know what? Chris Rock's going to bump about 4 comedians. He's going to bump them by taking their set time because you're not going to stay here till 2 a.m. The last off a bunch of comedians that I'm not going to get up on stage. Really, I think it was fear. And today I would have went on stage today because those comedians didn't give a shit about me and they still would. I don't know. Can I swear on your show? I'll rope it in. Sorry, it accidentally came out. So I'm like, they don't give a crap about me, these other comedians. So I didn't go. But guess what? Marcy Klein gave me her father's Calvin Klein, by the way. And she gave me a business card and said, when you're ready to be seen, call me. I will come just personally to watch you. I never called her. I never thought I was ready. And it was the biggest life lesson on to never allow fear to get in my way. And I just go for it. And if she didn't like me, then she didn't like me. And if the comedians got mad, then they got mad. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I blew my opportunity and my shot. And I said, never again. I became a New York Times bestselling author because of this mentality. It was the best loss I've ever had.
Okay. So let me tell you a couple of things I pick up. Number one, I love that you were in the moment and you were willing to just flow that night, right? You were paying attention. The fact, this amazing discovery, this life discovery drops on your lap. See, and I think not enough people pay attention to when that kind of like divine door opens.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lady from Saturday Night Live, right? Miss Klein. This whole Chris Rock thing that was there. But I like how you say that you learned from the experience. That if that divine door opened again, pay a doggone attention and come through. Okay?
Which I did. Yeah.
Give me another door that then later opens for you, maybe in your early 20s, maybe mid-20s, in your 20s.
So in my early 20s, so after that, so I was like 24, 25, 26 about that time. So after that, I wanted to make it as a stand-up comedian. So I can't memorize stuff. Saturday Night Live wouldn't have been a good fit for me because they do skits and you have to memorize stuff. It's not my shtick, right? Yeah. However, I'm a showman. I always say I'm a performer at the end of the day. So what happened was that I had an opportunity to go work at the FBI. So I worked for ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. My dad said I turned my hobbies into a career: drinking, smoking, and shooting. And I don't do any of those things anymore, Miss Storey. So I had an opportunity to go work at the FBI for a year. The Brady bill had just passed, and I was going to take
pretty
my special
intense, Janine, just for a second, because I'm a
Yeah.
guy. So even if we were friends hanging out, to know that when you said the word investigator,
Mm-hmm.
FBI, and body language expert, people can't get away with anything.
Well, you think that's why I have no friends.
I was over there. I didn't do anything.
You're going to invite me over for dinner? Hell no. No, you're not. No one wants me around. Nobody wants me.
Oh,
My
this is
kids,
so
my
great.
kids' friends don't want to come over. Nobody wants to come over.
This is so great.
So I had an opportunity to go work at the FBI for a year, but I didn't want to leave my dream of trying to make it in stand up. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. It's cool to say I work for the FBI. It's only a year. I can come back to New York. The opportunity's in front of me. I'm never going to say no to an opportunity that comes in front of me like that. A door opens, this divine intervention. I call it a God wink.
Yes.
I said yes.
No, I like it.
Well, from there, from it was in West Virginia, from working at the FBI for a year, and it's called a detail, I had an opportunity to get a promotion and move back with ATF in Seattle. I took the job and I moved. So I went from New York City to West Virginia. I went on a detail at the FBI. I still belonged to ATF, but then I went from West Virginia to Seattle.
Yeah.
And when I was in Seattle, 9/11 happened at the World Trade Center in New York City, where I worked. And I used to eat breakfast every morning at the top of the Dean Witter cafeteria because I flirted with the security guards in my building. We were building 6, one of the lower buildings, ATF. Yeah. But I flirted shamelessly with the security guards. They got me a fake pass. I scammed the system to say I was a Dean Witter employee so I could eat their breakfast for free because I was a government employee and didn't make a lot of money. And I'd eat at the top of the towers. And had I not taken this opportunity, I would have likely been at the top of one of the towers when 9/11 happened, 9/11 with the planes crashing in.
You know,
so me chickening out to Marcy Klein was the best thing that could have ever happened to my life.
And when you talk about the 9/11 story, for a person like me, I don't even have a reaction because people don't understand the devastation. I mean, you could see it on television, you could hear it in the news, but for you to be familiar with the buildings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Familiar
I get
with
emotional.
Some of the people, like, wow.
Well,
okay.
A guy I worked with, he was there on 9/11 and he told me people were jumping out of the towers and body parts, burned, exploded body parts. When he pulled up, he was arriving to work with his car. Body parts were falling up from the sky on the roof of his car and on the hood of his car. Like, that's how emotional it connects me to know that I worked with a man that was there that day and experienced that level of devastation. And for me, saying yes to going for the FBI that then led to somewhere else, I call them blue streak. A blue streak is something that changes the direction of your life immediately. Like a bolt of lightning, you get out of the pool, you get off the golf course. And that blue streak saved my life.
When I say the word gratitude, what does that mean for you?
That's a very important word for me. I have an attitude of gratitude, and I do 3-day certification courses here. I'm in Alexandria, Virginia. This is the lobby of my building because the photo shoot's happening upstairs with Leslie, my friend. At the end of every single day on my certification courses, the last hour is we go around and we say the blue streak, something we learned that could change the direction of our life. And something we're grateful for. So we say, it's always positive. I don't want any negative feedback. I operate out of abundance. When people, there's books on this, that when you give people negative feedback, it has the adverse effect. It does not help to give people negative feedback. Just say how amazing they are, and they get inspired to work so hard for you. So for me, I have this beautiful office space here, and to make a long story short, I had a great office in DC, across from the White House, rooftop access, but it was tiny. It was like 9 feet by 9 feet. I was paying, $3,000 for it. I took a class, and this woman named Andrea Quinn, she's out of LA. said to us, if you were a billionaire and you had all the money in the world and you could financially take care of you, all of your kids, all of your family, all of your friends, you had so much money you didn't know what to do with, what would you do with that money? And I wrote down, I would be an angel investor and help anyone who has a startup company who wants to help people who are suffering, whether it's cancer, whether it's the vets, whether it's child abuse or battered women, or even people coming out of jail. You know, anyone who's suffering. If you have a startup, I want to be an angel investor. And when I wrote it down, she had us say it out loud, this Andrea Quinn. I'll never forget it. And she looked at us and said, how dare you not ask for the raise? How dare you not work harder than you've ever worked before? Because these people you just wrote down who are suffering are depending on you to get yours. So you can go help them. They are waiting to be helped. Get your ego out of the way. And I came back, I Googled funky office space in the suburbs, got this space. And to answer your question, when I moved in this beautiful space upstairs, before I left, I got on my knees. I call myself a swearing Christian.
Yes.
Whatever you believe in what I said, well, let's meet each other at believing something. You can believe in being an atheist. I'll still love you. I believe in something. Be real. I got on my knees and cried and thanked God for 20 minutes. And my friends were downstairs waiting. They go, is everything okay? What happened? You were gone for 20 minutes. I go, I had a lot of gratefulness I had to send God's way.
I think that's powerful. Very powerful.
I can show you the spot. When people come in, I show them, I go, there's where I got on my knees, right there, on my knees.
Janine,
a lot of people fall to their knees in pain, and I fall to my knees with gratitude.
I have you down as a body language expert, right? And you have a body language institute.
Yes.
And so explain that to a novice like myself, what a body language institute is, and then tell us how we can learn from you, grow from you, be better people from your gift.
My life's mission is to inspire people to look at their world differently. And the reason that's my mission is when I was 6 or 7, I was molested by a neighbor, and I won't go into the details, just, crappy. And then 10 years later at 15, a guy tried to kidnap me and throw me in his car off my bike on a rainy morning. It was 5:15 in the morning, and I got away. Wow. And those 2 moments put me on the path to going into law enforcement. Those 2 blue streaks changed my life. And I wanted to first protect me and my family. And then when I got there, and I was there for 17 years working for ATF, the federal government, I said, I need to go help entrepreneurs and business people and salespeople and mothers and, inspire people to live in their truth and to see the truth in the people behind you. Like, I'll give you a quick example, body language. We all know my nose is running because I was just crying here. I'm like crybaby syndrome.
No, this is very powerful. I like that you are so yourself. And there was a point in the conversation I was going to say, you're like a person that's had 9 lives, and now you're describing that you are that person.
I am. So if I did this to you, what does this mean?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Agreement. It's agreement, right? So I'm nodding my head. I'm saying, yeah, I like your deal. So if you're in sales or you're an entrepreneur, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
What no one's ever told you is that there's a hand gesture that happens at the same time. If you're nodding your head, yes, and I'm doing this specific hand gesture, it turns agreement to disagreement. So whether it's someone babysitting and watching your kids, yeah, I'll keep an eye on your kids while they're in the pool. I understand they have to wear a life jacket while they're in the pool, but they're doing this hand gesture. They're saying they disagree with you, or they're saying, no, I like your product.
Give me the hand gesture, just so I learn. So if they're doing this, and I have like 4 minutes. If they're doing this, it means yes. What's the no hand gesture?
Ready? Go like this. That sounds good. Pat the back of your head.
Yeah, that's good. I got the kids. They're in the pool.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, or do this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your car will be done on Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's safe. So anytime, it's called a pacifier. If someone is pacifying with agreement, they turns agreement to disagreement. But you walk out saying you're planning your Aruba vacation because you think you landed this $2 million client. But what you missed is in the meeting, your clients are lying to you because they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. But they're going, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Or they're patting their head. Yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah, that's good. But what you didn't realize is they're telling you, yeah, your prices are way too high, dude. It's not happening. Or yeah, your ideas are ordinary. I just met with 2 other companies that have way better creative ideas than you. They're not going to
I
say
am
that.
loving. I want to just spend a day with you and just watch how we would interact. Because if we went to a diner, you're going to pick up on the waitress's attitude.
Oh yeah.
Right? If we had to go to the bank for a minute, you're going to pick up on that.
Oh,
if we got into Uber, you're going to pick up on their.
Listen, here, it's not just reading people though and decoding them. It's how do you then, oh, hold on, another call came in. Let me delete it. Hold on, a call came in. There, it's gone.
It's not your fault.
It's
You're
not,
just popular.
yeah, I know, right? So my birthday was yesterday, so the phone, everyone's belated birthdays.
Okay,
so,
we got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. We got somebody
it's
waiting.
not just reading people, it's influencing the outcome. And the best way to influence the outcome of any interaction, any negotiation, any sales meeting happens before you walk into that room. And how it happens is not only self-awareness, it's decoding something as simple as this, saying, yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. And knowing they don't like it. Or there's a million different moves. A shoulder shrug is the #1 mistell in body language. So my 3-day Body Language Institute courses are 12-hour courses. People come from around this planet, around
the world,
from the Middle East.
No, I do know that from around the world.
Yeah, so and that's what we do for 3 days. I say you can't unsee it, unhear it, or unexperience it. So we analyze ourselves first. We look at pictures and videos on your camera. I then have you do some poses and elbow pops, steepling, and you look at you and you judge you and you say, which version of you would you hire? You judge you. Once you judge you, then we analyze celebrities and politicians and athletes.
So I'm going to say one last thing, and then we're going to push everything, all things Janine. You are so creative. I love you. Now, how come I felt so comfortable with you at the beginning? Because even though I do what I do, I'm supposed to be what I am supposed to be. I'm very laid back. I truly care about people and I engage. Little kids seem to like me. I think I give off an animated personality. You, from the minute I came around and started talking to you, you were like, I'm open. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that learned behavior or is that just really you?
I think it's just me. And I think it's funny. I think the times caught up to me. I think today it's an asset for me to be authentic, like who I am. How I make money is I'm a keynote speaker and I speak to companies like Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola and Booz Allen Hamilton, Lockheed Martin.
You're doing well.
Yeah, so that's where the money comes in. And in the past, me being authentic and I'm emotional and I let it come in and be just me. I'm me unapologetically, and I don't want people to become me. I want to see you be the best version of you, and I look for that. And so when someone like you comes on and you're being authentically you, you're my people, and we automatically pull together. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Sometimes the best thing they like about me is the cool stuff that I know, and they would never be my friend. I'm too much. I'm a loud talker. I talk fast. I'm too much, you know. So I'm emotional. That's the water in me. My astrologist friend Leslie McGurk would tell me. I'm just me. I've always been this way, and I know I always say I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You don't need to be friends with the plumber, but the plumber can come and fix the pipes and fix your hot water heater. What I can do is I can change your life in the direction you head. And so whether you like me or you don't like me, it's okay. I still might have something that will be a blue streak for you to either save your life, save some. I'll give you a quick example. I know we're almost out of time. A fire chief came up. I just spoke around the country, the United States, to Fire Chiefs Association. And a fire chief came up with tears in his eyes. I go, what's up, chief? Handsome guy, 6'5". It's like 65. I go, what's up, chief? He goes, Janine, I want to show you these yellow roses we have embroidered on our uniforms here in Michigan. It represents mental health. Suicide is through the roof with firefighters because they look at destruction every day. Wow. And a firefighter is 6 times more likely to commit suicide than any person with mental illness. Yeah. And I go, really? So he said, my firefighter, we did these roses because my firefighter committed suicide last year and he was a good man. And today in your keynote, you talked about 3 body language tells that indicate a spike in stress and anxiety. And my guy did all 3 of those things the last month of his life, including the last day when he came up to me and said, Chief, it was a great day today. I'll see you tomorrow. And he killed himself that night. He did this move you talked about today and showed me celebrities doing it that indicates stress and anxiety. He goes, I will never look at my firefighters the same. I'm going to keep more firefighters safe by knowing these simple little moves. And this move he told me there's 3 I talked about. I'll just give you one. which was we show our palms of our hands when we're being authentic and sharing and open. This firefighter did this. This is, I'm holding something back. The firefighter said, hey, chief, today was a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Instead of, hey, chief, today was a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
You know, all I got to say is wow. Because I'm a comeback coach, and I've seen it so many times where somebody tells me one thing, but the next day they'll do a whole other. Okay, Janine Driver, you know I care about you. Can we hang out sometime?
I would love it. Oh my gosh. I love, you know, I'm a storyteller. So any friends with the last name Storey, it's meant to be. It's, you know, it's
Okay,
the
so
kindred
World
spirit.
Shakers, Janine Driver. We're going to put information on her. She's fantastic. Follow her, learn from her, grow from her. Life is good.